Hello, welcome to our 6:30 workshop. We're going to get started on the request for proposals pertaining to community opioid response services. We may be turning it over to Councilor Gelinas here.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll start off, Administrator Hunter, and then feel free to jump in. Okay. So as many of you know, the City of Lewiston was a direct participant and recipient of funds from the opioid lawsuit settlement, and there was a packet in the agenda, so I know that my fellow councilors have had a chance to read that. It was available to the public as well. I'm just going to highlight some of the major points here. I want folks to know that, direct recipients, City of Lewiston, are able to choose how they wish to appropriate those funds to address the opioid addiction in their communities. And so, under the appointment of the Mayoral Ad Hoc Committee last year, we had a committee of folks that got together and we presented actually to this council in February of 2023, identifying what are some of the community assets as well as community needs. And from that, a stakeholder group was born, and we continued to work on what we perceive to be some of the biggest needs in our community. So the City of Lewiston has been very much at that table, our administrator and some of the others from the City of Lewiston, and they're going to be partnering with the Lewiston Area Public Health Committee. As a chair of that committee, that I can tell you that has been one of our major focus areas. Some of the committee members are here tonight, and thank you for being here. So the idea is in partnership, to seek proposals from service providers on their ability to increase programming and/or create new programs to combat substance use disorder in our community. And it's really going to be centered around the 4 pillars that have been outlined in the State of Maine strategic plan. And those four areas are prevention, harm reduction, treatment, and recovery. Moving forward, we're looking for proposals to be received by our city administrator no later than Friday, December 29th. Proposals are going to be evaluated by a panel. And at this point in time, the Area Public Health Committee, we're working to certainly not have any blatant conflict of interest, so selecting people that really know a bit about substance misuse and recovery and know a bit about these pillars, that's important, number one. But number two, also identifying folks that won't potentially be applying for those funds. So we're still in the process of establishing that panel. Each of the proposals will be covering one period of time. Because the city is proposing the use of $80,000 per year for the direct recipients. And so it could be one grant, or one RFP rather, in the amount of $80,000. It could be 2, it could be 3, depending on what those proposals are. But the maximum amount will be $80,000. If you look through the packet, there's a lot of specificity outlined in the RFP, and one of the things that I'm very appreciative. I just want to give some accolades to Administrator Hunter, who really came alongside us and helped with this process, and the committee. But I will say that there's a lot of accountability. There's a lot of good stuff written in this RFP, and I feel really optimistic and very hopeful because having been immersed in this now for the past few years, what I will say is there's a lot of really valuable work being done already in our community. There's a lot of really good agencies and good people out there. And this is really an opportunity for folks to step up with proposals, lock arms with one another even in a collaborative way. And I'm really feeling pretty excited about this opportunity. So really, I said earlier that the due date for the proposals is December 29th of this year. We are potentially going to be listening to presentations by folks that present an RFP, and that'll be done the second week in January. And then making our recommendations by January 17th, and then the proposal awards will happen by January 23rd. So really by the end of January, we're really looking to have this sort of done. I think at this point, that's really, there's a lot of stuff in the packet that you had that's kind of like contracty, but I wanted to sort of high level the rationale behind why we're doing this, give you a little backdrop of the work that's already been done by the committees as well as the Area Public Health Committee, again in partnership with the City of Lewiston, and just outline some of those dates. At this point, Administrator Hunter, I defer to you to see if there's anything else you'd like to add.
I think the only thing I would add is just to kind of make it clear from a pathway from the council standpoint, if there's general consensus that you're comfortable with the RFP process and there's no amendments or changes you would like to say, and to proceed with the issuance at the by the November 27th date, what will happen, the Area Public Health Committee will go through their screening process, and then they will make a recommendation. It will return back to council to accept their recommendation and appropriate the funds at that point in time. So that's kind of the two-pronged step that will happen, and you'll be awarding those fundings and appropriating it at that time period.
On an annual basis.
Yep.
I mean, on an annual basis, I meant, yeah.
Right now, it's a one-year trial
Right.
period, and then if it, obviously, at that point, it can take any turn it wants to take at that point.
And I think, I would just add to that, one of the things that we've discussed quite a bit at the Public Health Committee level has been the idea that there's many pathways to recovery. It's not one size fits all, and I think the idea behind this RFP was really to give different opportunities to different entities to identify different pathways, because really that was really the bulk of the discussion. So, yeah, thank you for that. Any questions for me? I mean, no.
Not a question, but I just want to make a comment. When I read through all of this, I was really, really impressed with the way this was put together. Not only is there the whole conversation around how the scope of work to be performed, very impressive. This is to stay within the Lewiston city limits, that it has to go by those 4 pillars. I think that's awesome. But the fact that we've got the reporting that's going to have to be done, to me, was the big thing. So the reporting out requirements, that the organization is there's oversight on this, and that makes me feel very comfortable about when this process goes through and somebody's chosen, that there's oversight, that they're doing the work that needs to be done in our community. And I'm just really pleased with seeing all this and excited to see what's going to come about with it. Thank you.
And again, I just want to extend, on behalf of the Public Health Committee, I want to extend gratitude to you, Administrator Hunter, because you were really helpful in driving this to the place that it's at today. So,
Thank you very much. Any further comments from the council?
So, Mr. Mayor, if you
Yes.
could kind of just see if there's a consensus with everybody to move forward to release the RFP.
We're looking good.
Okay, thank you.
I believe we're good.
Perfect.
Thank you, Councilor Janice. Thank you to the Public Health Committee, and yes, thank you, Administrator Hunter. I think this concludes our workshop, and we're going to begin the meeting in roughly 20 minutes. Thank you. Hello, welcome to our Tuesday evening City Council meeting. To kick things off, we will have the Police Chief, Dave St. Pierre, lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you all for being here. Well, we did have a special City Council meeting to appropriate funding for the Resiliency Center. This is our first regularly scheduled City Council meeting since the tragedy. And we lost 18 lives here in Lewiston, and if we can have a moment of silence now for them. Thank you. There are a number of law enforcement professionals and hospital providers and nurses and ambulance employees. I think Life Flight is here. We're going to be recognizing some organizations for their work since the tragedy. But first, I would like to recognize Administrator Hunter, Deputy Administrator Brian O'Malley, and Communications Director Angie Morris for their incredible hard work during this time. Please, a round of applause for them. I will we'll bring up groups one at a time, and then if you can find a way to make it back to your spot, because at the end we're going to try to get a large group photo with everyone. First up, we have Lewiston Police Department. If you can please join me up here. As you know, Lewiston Police Department was responded to both scenes and has been through the law, and I really appreciate you and your officers. I have a letter here. I will read an excerpt from. Selflessness is an essential hallmark of what it means to serve. The willingness to lay down one's own safety and take up one's duty to protect and aid others reflects a strong devotion to one's profession and department. You and your officers provided just such an example. You and your whole department can be proud of your response and quick actions that you took that night and the days that followed. Thank you so much. I think we can have Deputy Chief Higgins and Conley. We're going to get a photo.
Okay. Okay. Let's see when to start. There you go. Miss Scott, there you go. 3, 2, 1. One more. 3, 2, 1. Is it? Oh, really? Thank you. Oh, I guess so.
Just keep the chairs back. No worries.
And we have Lewiston Fire Department here. If you can please join us up here.
Mark, Fire Department?
Yes. Okay. There we go.
Sue?
Thank you for being here, Chief and firefighters. And I will read an excerpt from their letter. Please accept this letter as my heartfelt thanks for the Lewiston Fire Department's response in the wake of the October 25th mass shooting. While the senseless and tragic violence came suddenly and without warning, the response from you and your firefighters were immediate and showed unequivocal courage and bravery. Thank you so much.
This is gonna be video. Ready? 3, 2, 1. There you go. Thank you.
Should we just stand?
Right? Maybe. Not a good.
You don't want to be the only one.
You can just move my chair. We have Androscoggin Sheriff's Office here. What happened in Lewiston on that Wednesday night will be forever a page in our history of Lewiston, but what also must be told is the story of your organization's heroic efforts and outstanding commitment to the uniform you wear during this time. We needed it the most. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Eric.
Do we have Lieutenant Justin Richardson here? I would like to recognize the Auburn Police Department and their help during this tragedy. Thank you so much.
Four, 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
Lisbon Police Department. Lisbon certainly shared with us in this tragedy. We appreciate your efforts that night and during the manhunt. Thank you so much for everything you've done.
More. 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
I believe we have Director Hall here from the 911 Emergency Center Communication. Thanks for being here. Thank you. Yes, I would like to recognize the Lewiston Auburn 911 Center. You received a lot of calls, and I appreciate you handling it, and thank you for everything you've done for us. Director Foreigner from the Ashland County Regional Communications 911 Center. I think we figured it out. I understand what he said now. He came up with the sheriff's office. It's very hard to hear up here. Commissioner Shoshchuk. Commissioner, thank you for leading the state's effort here to help us here during this time. You were amazing, and I appreciate everything you've done for us.
Bless you.
Colonel Ross from Man State Police. Let me see. Yes, thank you for leading the investigation and offering support. Your staff and assets were a critical resource during this unfortunate tragedy. Thank you so much.
Camera shy, are we?
Okay, there you go. Ready? 3, 2, 1. One more. 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
Thank you, Carl.
Thank you.
We have Marshal Kevin Neal from the District of Maine. I appreciate the U.S. Marshal's service and everything you did for us during the manhunt and during this tragedy. Thank you so much.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. One more. 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
Thank you.
Special Agent Peavy, FBI. The FBI's response here for the manhunt was incredible. I had heard from the White House that at one point there were, 280 or so FBI agents in the state of Maine, which is probably how much more than normal?
271 more.
Thank you so much for everything you and the FBI did for us during this time.
Yes. Yes.
Agent DeLeo? From the ATF. What is your pronunciation?
Delella.
DeLello.
Yes.
Okay, that wasn't close at all. I appreciate everything you and the ATF, what you guys did for us during the night. Thank you so much.
One more. 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
Delella.
We have Agent Prouty from the DEA. The DEA was one of the many federal agencies that came running to help us, and I deeply appreciate that.
Three, two, one. Thank you.
Agent McGonigal from the Department of Homeland Security. We have a lieutenant in the Lewiston Police Department with that same last name. So I think spelled a little differently, but pronounced the same. Thank you for everything, Homeland Security, and what you and your agents did for us. We have Central Maine Medical Center here. Please join me. Oh, there he is.
Come over the other
Come on
side.
this side, too.
Yeah. Pick on the other side of the mayor. Sorry.
Thank you all for being here. The response from you and your providers, nurses, and staff were immediate and effective. The care that patients received from Central Maine Medical Center was critical to saving lives in the beginning hours of the tragedy. Thank you so much for everything you've done.
Let's see. Yep, get in there. Let's see how this works. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
We have St. Mary's here. Doctor, thank you. Thank you so much for being here and everything you did for patients during the tragedy. I really, really appreciate it. United Ambulance. I appreciate everything United Ambulance did for the victims and the injured. Thank you so much.
One more. 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
Do we have Life Flight here? Life Flight? Okay. Yeah. Life Flight helicopters were definitely transporting patients that evening, and a huge round of applause for them. Community concepts. Danielle, right? Yeah. Community Concepts is helping to run the Resiliency Center. It'll be a critical piece of how our community moves forward. Thank you so much.
Danielle.
Well, here's
Tri-County. And we have Campbell and Sky with us as well. Tri-County helped to provide counseling services at the Ramada and was critical in ensuring that Lewiston community members had an outlet to express their grief, pain, and anguish. Thank you all so much.
okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. One more. The dog's smiling. 3, 2, 1. Thank you all.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
I believe we have somebody from Sweetser here. What's your name? Alyssa. Yes, apologize. Sweetser also provided counseling services at the Ramada. Thank you all so much.
One more. There you go. 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
If I can have everyone who's recognized come up, and we're going to try to get a big group photo. We're going to stand behind the counselors here and crowd around here. Yeah, I'm not joking. Come on up.
Okay, we're gonna set this up. Tall people in the back. You at the front. Yep. We'll have some in the back. There you go. Up here.
We need our our federal special agents too. So,
Over on that side. Come in here.
Sheriff, do we have everyone from the hall in here? Okay.
Okay, we do it all the time. Up here with us.
Next, some behind Councilor Scott. There.
All kinds of room in the back.
Scott. Next behind McCarthy.
Behind us over here.
Over that way.
We're going to need to squeeze a little closer together here.
Okay. There you go.
It's only a fire hazard if there's a fire.
Thanks, Carl.
Do we have everyone in from the hall? We're getting almost. We need a united. Come on down.
Okay, everyone, suck in for like 3 seconds. The sun girdle. Ready? Oh, okay. Look that way, there you go. Thank you all.
A huge round of applause for our law enforcement and healthcare professionals. Thank you all so much.
I don't see you in a while. Hopefully meet you on a different circumstance. Sir, I gave that coin that you gave me to my grandson.
Is John Alexander still here?
I gave it to my grandson. Oh, he was in love with it. He was in love with it. Thank you.
So what are you going to use for the second one?
There's John right there.
John.
You already did this. Is anybody else warm?
Yes,
Yeah, it was cold when I first got in here.
it's not cold
anymore.
anymore. All these bodies in here.
It should be. It's 110 degrees in here.
And now we're going to recognize our Lewiston High School boys soccer Class A state champions. Look at that trophy. Coach, get up here.
There you go. Oh, sun girdle's up again.
Here, we're going to make room for the coach. Coach.
There we go.
I don't normally do this, but this is really exciting. Coach, before I say a few words, do you want to say a few words?
This is usually I'm not at a loss for words. Just ask my players during practice. But what we just witnessed is something special, and it puts life in perspective. You know, we went from an overtime win thrill to finding out what was happening in our city. And I thank God that we have some special people that protect us and also help save us when we need them. And our hearts, and we dedicated our season to them and the community. And this gold ball is for the city of Lewiston.
Thank you, Coach. Okay. We have a proclamation here. Whereas in recent years, Lewiston High School boys soccer has been lauded for its camaraderie, memorable plays on the field, and multiple championships widely captured in media and film. And whereas players have demonstrated precise execution and perseverance, and coaching and training have focused on not only winning, but the individual contributions of each player. And whereas the year 2023 is once again a standout for the team has been named the 2023 KVAC champions and earned the #1 seed in the playoffs, won the 2023 North Main Class A Boys Soccer Championship, won the 2023 Class A Boys Soccer State Championship, been ranked #4 in New England's Region 1 by the U.S. Coaches Association. And whereas the boys soccer team pursued the Class A win with a do-it-for-the-city attitude, and they surely have done the city proud. And whereas congratulations are extended to players Payson Goyet, Mustafa Hassan, Nasir Abdi, Caden Boone, Abdish Kadir Nur, Ahmed Adaw, Obed Antonio, Jacinto Mavinga, Eden Labiki, Tegra Mabeli, Mohammed Gabao, Aristark Melly, thank you. Nolan Coty, Isaac Belmore, Pedro Sebastio, Hamilton Dominique, Abdelmalik Nur, Mechi Mabeli, Animir Ibrahim, Abdurraf Hersey, Bello Fernando Benge, Yahuba Katu, Nur Haj, Bakr Ibrahim, Steve Sambuila, and Will Dymick Stanek. And whereas friends and family members are also commended for the support they have rendered to these players. Also being recognized today are Principal John Radke, Athletic Director Jason Fuller, Head Coach Dan Gish, Assistant Coaches Caleb Lino, Abdurari Hersey, Abdurrahman Dawood, and Butch Dow, Trainer Jesse Leroux, and Bookkeeper Ken Wagner. The bookkeeper gets recognized. That's awesome. All playing vital roles in supporting the team. And whereas Lewiston High School boys soccer is indeed a force to be reckoned with, and they have once again excelled in stellar fashion. Now, therefore, our Carl L. Schelin, Mayor of the City of Lewiston, Maine, do hereby officially recognize the winning accomplishments of the Lewiston High School boys soccer team and commend them for their hard work and dedication.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. One more. 3, 2, 1. And then Sanjuro. You got it? Okay.
Thank you.
Great job. Great job.
Congratulations. Thank you. Excellent job, guys.
You look like you want to model.
Oh. Yeah. I'll text you if I do.
Zumba is all over now, is it? Done that aerobics? Grandson's team on the class.
Thank you, everyone.
Mr. Mayor?
I don't know how we follow up after that. That was pretty amazing, and I just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight and being here
Yes.
with us. That was quite impressive.
Yes, I would love to call it a night, but we in fact have an entire city council meeting ahead of us. Madam Clerk, I believe we're ready to begin.
Yes, thank you. All roll call votes for this meeting will begin with the Councilor of Ward 1.
I see we're accepting the minutes.
Yes, the minutes of the meeting of October 17th, 2023.
May I have a motion, please? Councilor LaChapelle, seconded by Councilor Pease. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilor from Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5? Yes. Ward 6?
Yes.
Ward 7?
Yes.
Motion passed by a vote of 7-0.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We are now up to public comment. Any member of the public may make comments regarding issues pertaining to Lewiston City Government. This period is reserved for non-agenda items. Public comment is also allowed during individual agenda items. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes per person. Please state your name for the record, and please indicate if you are a Lewiston resident. Because this is the business meeting of the City Council, all questions should be directed to the mayor, who will ask staff to follow up at a future time. It is illegal for the City Council to allow comments related to personnel matters. All personnel complaints should be made directly to the City Administration Office.
Ready to go?
Please proceed when you are ready.
That's hard to follow all that. My name is Clara Tammany. I live at Sophia's house in downtown Lewiston, and I speak today as a member of Trinity Episcopal Church. We continue to be heartbroken about the desperation of those who are unhoused. We find ourselves having to ask the police to remove people and their belongings from our property, knowing full well that there is no truly accessible and appropriate support for many of them. They sleep under blankets in the parking lot next to our church as temperatures drop toward life-threatening levels. We feel strongly that housing should be a human right, and we wake up every morning with a sense of peril for them, some of whom we know by name and love. Silence is consent to these desperate circumstances, and so we raise our voices here. We are angry residents of Lewiston and followers of Jesus who commanded us to love and care for and protect our neighbors without condition. On the horrific night of October 25th, when we were all told to shelter in place, those folks were huddled outside with no protection, a supremely vulnerable target for a mentally ill man with an assault rifle. Where were you and your loved ones that night and those following days? Churches and nonprofits whom you have unwisely relied on to do your job are exhausted and overwhelmed. The need has grown exponentially while our capacity to respond is shrinking. The private sector alone no longer has the capacity to meet the needs around us. We beg our city officials to stop shrugging your shoulders and blocking solutions. We need you to pursue resources for compassionate and proactive responses. The new Landlord Liaison Program, the New Beginnings Program are all steps in the right direction, but not enough. Hopefully, the new council will be more proactive. I served on the mayor's ad hoc shelter committee, and my job was to research the successful models in other main cities. Waterville rose to the top. If they can make positive progress, certainly so can Lewiston. Let's learn from them. Some quotes from the vigil after the shooting. Come together, stay together. We're glad you're here. We need you to be kinder and more merciful. Listen well, love the stranger well. You are not alone. We will remain hopeful. And quoting from the op-ed by Paul Schofield in last week's Washington Post, also printed in the Sun Journal yesterday, creating designated locations for camping and providing places to inject safely while nudging people into shelters, housing, treatment, or all serves to make the city hospitable to all residents. But it also reduces harm and puts unhoused individuals on a path to a better life. We're asking you to actually follow those directives. Please soften your hearts and do the job you were elected to do. Provide for the safety and welfare of all the people of Lewiston, both our most vulnerable ones as well as residents and businesses being negatively affected by your negligence. Please make this a priority and act accordingly. We have pledged not to stop asking until you do. Thank you for listening and truly hearing.
Jim Lyson, 40-year resident of Ward 1 on Taylor Hill Road in Lewiston. I have to agree with Clara about the fact that there are just too many unhoused people in this city, and I think that they are being treated terribly. In fact, the high rents in this community makes it difficult for people to afford rental housing. We must do all we can to make sure that there is safe, decent, and affordable housing, and to assist renters in finding adequate housing. And I also represent the Maine People's Alliance, and we're going to be here every city council meeting during this transition of this council into the new council. So I think transparency and accountability is critical as we move forward, regardless of what the issue is. And again, I think we need to make sure that all Lewiston residents can live in Lewiston safely, decently, and affordably. And that's not a lot to ask, but I think it is our responsibility to meet that goal and objective. So thank you for what you do. I was glad to be part of this ceremony tonight, and and there was the positives and the negatives, but the great championship of the soccer team was one thing that we could all be proud of at a time when we're all grieving pretty heavily. So thank you.
Rick Kay, President of the Lewiston Firefighters Association. I respectfully request that the item on the consent agenda regarding personal days be removed and placed on the regular agenda. Thank you.
We will do so. Thank you.
Matthew Legren, 209 East Avenue. That was a hell of a presentation earlier, so it's really hard to follow that up. But I'm here to request the city look at putting a crosswalk on East Avenue somewhere between Webster and Sabattis Streets. Traffic speeds are not being enforced or held to, and anyone who needs to cross to go, for example, to Barwell School needs to risk life or limb or go way to the ends of the streets to cross legally and safely in a crosswalk. We all remember earlier this year that a Lewiston student was hit by a car while trying to cross East Avenue. A crosswalk, perhaps with a flashing pedestrian crossing warning sign like the many that exist around the Bates College, would be helpful to all, including the children who cross that street multiple times a day. As a street resident who watches frequent near misses, both with cars and pedestrians, I would suggest the intersection of East Avenue, Warren Avenue, and Green Street would be ideal, as it allows you to feed directly up to Farwell School. Thank you very much for your time tonight.
Good evening, and how is everybody doing today? My name is Brother Alfred. I am the current CEO for the National Saving Fatherhood Foundation. I want to say that was like watching the Justice League right then. But I want to extend, because of what happened, our support. Let y'all know that during that time, when we had the lockdown, the National Saving Fatherhood was on 24-hour alert. We had all our lines open for mental support. Our doctors across the nation was available. If anybody knew us or knew anything, we started putting flyers out, keep putting flyers out, even though that basically says, and that if anybody would like, that we have also posted up here in City Hall for mental support. I have over 30 years of experience dealing with psychiatry and theology. I've dealt with history with mental illness, and where people were also misdiagnosed. We've had over 6 to 7 fathers have committed suicide due to mental support problems or physical custody. We are start constantly fighting every day to try to make sure to let you know that the domino effect is alive and it's affecting everything. It's getting worse out here. The positive is that, you know what, we're here. We're not just Lewiston, we're not just Maine, we're nation, but like we say, and just like it says right here on my back, it says we don't sit for Maine and Lewiston, we stand for Maine. We stand strong with you guys. And we're here to show you that if we can get the city to support what we're doing here, when it's time, when the available time is to sit down with you all again, we can make this incident never happen again. And that is our goal here. Not just for a short time, but permanent. We don't do Band-Aids, we heal. And we're here to help. You all know how to get in touch with us. We're the National Saving Fatherhood Foundation. We have courses, online courses for fathers, children, families, healing, and everything else is there. We can use your support. We can use your avenues or resources you want to give us, you think, to help on a national scale. I thank you for your time. I thank you for your patience. And please don't just ignore this. Don't just sweep under the rug, because what's going to happen, it can happen again. Thank you.
Further public comment? Public comment is now closed. Madam Clerk, we will take number 2 out. And if we can, if it sounds good to you, we will approve the rest of the consent agenda, and then we will start with item number 2.
Sure. So I'm sorry.
Councilor Herman, did you have something?
Thank you. It doesn't need to be removed from the consent agenda, but I had a question about item number 6. I guess a question for the city clerk. Under letter A, it's talking about the hours for acceptance of registration. Does that mean that voters cannot register to vote at the polling place on the 12th? Or
No.
can they still do that?
They absolutely can do that
Okay.
to register to vote at the polls. That's the state law. And so for every election, folks can register the entire time. The polls are open right at the polls.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Council.
Yeah, we will remove number 2 and approve the rest.
Great, thank you.
1, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
So the consent agenda this evening, item number 1, order authorizing execution of municipal quitclaim deeds for real estate located at 46 Pierce Street, 80 Elm Street, and 19 Eustis Street. Number 3, appointment to the Lewiston Area Public Health Committee. Number 4, request for donation of in-kind city services and waiver of fees for the Holiday at the Plaza event. Number 5, order authorizing the acceptance and appropriation of funds from the Maine Bureau of Highway Safety as follows. 2024 High Visibility Enforcement and Education, 2024 Distracted Driving Enforcement, and 2024 Drug Recognition Expert Forensic Phlebotomy Training and Call-Out. And number 6, approval of the election warrant calling for a special municipal election to be held on Tuesday, December 12th, 2023, for the special mayoral runoff election, and recommendations from the city clerk registrar of voters on actions necessary to conduct said election.
May I have a motion? Councilor Clement, seconded by Councilor Pease. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Counselor from Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5? Yes. Ward 6?
Yes.
Ward 7?
Yes.
Motion passed by a vote of 7-0.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We will now jump back to item number 2.
Sure. Item number 2, amendment to the personnel policy to update the personal days language for non-union employees. Requested action to approve the proposed amendments to the city's personnel policy, Policy Manual Number 22, as recommended by the Human Resources Director and City Administration.
May I have a motion, please? Councilor LaChapelle? Second by Councilor Pease. Administrator Hunter, could you kick us off for this?
Actually,
Or-
Deputy City Administrator.
Deputy City Administrator, I apologize.
Yeah, you folks had already voted on this when the HR director submitted it. It was on the cover sheet for non-union employees, and she neglected to add that into the language that is in the personnel policy. Excuse me. In the prior meeting, you were advised that several of the unions, you may have been told all the unions, but I know there's several of the unions have this in their collective bargaining agreements, and we're just extending this offer to the non-union employees.
Thank you, Deputy Administrator. Discussion from the council? Public comment for this agenda item?
Rick Kite, President of Lewiston Firefighters. The agenda item before you regarding personal days was originally brought forward for council approval on October 17th and was presented as a benefit all union employees enjoy. That is incorrect. In the most recent negotiations, the Firefighters Association negotiated for this benefit. The city provided an unrealistic cost estimate, inferring that if we want this benefit, a benefit made clear by the city negotiators, they did not enjoy it. It would require a reduction in wage increases at a time in which inflation was at a generational high. On October 17th, you were led to believe all unions have personal days. I asked, how could that statement have been made when they were actually in the negotiation sessions? None of what transpired is new. After our contract was signed for modest wage increases, all other city unions returned to the table to renegotiate non-expired contracts, with 2 public safety unions and some of their personnel exceeding 30%. Never before seen wage increases follow shortly afterward with changes to the management pay plan due to the increases in their local bargaining units. This seemed to have been the plan all along. None of this is meant to be disparaging, but honestly, why is it that our members need to leave items such as tactical vests at the bargaining table as a cost savings with the understanding that avenues would be explored to provide them? Ironically, yesterday, I was approached about tactical vests the first time since negotiations. None of this is by accident. It is the city of Lewiston operating at its best. Yet your firefighters' only protection nearly a month ago amounted to an EMS bag and a bowling pin in hand. You say you appreciate us, yet we try to sit at the table and move the city and department along, but are continually rebuffed. You reward a failing EMS system with a $360,000 payment with no input from us. We continually raise their failings, and we don't even get responses. We warned that current public safety capability was not adequate, yet no one seems to listen, and the public continues to be poorly served. Within hours of the shooting, the association, along with our state and international union, had nearly 3,000 mental health response personnel from across the country in the city. For over a week, at no city expense, we provided care for our first responders. We asked nothing. Firefighters spend more time away from their families than any other city employee. Thursday, there will be 17 empty seats at the dining table. I trust every non-union employee will be with their families. I have just one question. What did City Hall leave at the table to have their personal days? Thank you.
Further public comment? Back to the council. Discussion. Anything further, Deputy Administrator?
No.
Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Council from Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
I'll abstain. I'm not familiar with the entire situation. I don't feel comfortable voting on it. Thank you.
Ward 7?
Yes.
Motion passed by a vote of 6-0.
I guess just for transparency, is there's some confusion. Do I vote in this situation or not for abstentions?
Sure, let me just read the section from the charter for you for clarification. Section 2.03, Mayor. The mayor shall be the presiding officer of the council and shall be entitled to vote only to break a tie when a council vacancy exists, in the absence of a counselor, or when a counselor has been recused due to a conflict of interest.
Thank you for having that at the ready, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
We are now back up to item number 7. Is that correct, Madam
Yes,
Clerk?
that's correct. Yes, item number 7, public hearing on a renewal application for a special amusement permit for live entertainment for C40 Incorporated, 40 East Avenue. Requested action to grant a special amusement permit for live entertainment for C40 Incorporated, 40 East Avenue.
Yes,
Second.
Counselor Pease, second by Counselor Jelinas. Discussion? Public comment? Back to the council. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Counsel from Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Ward 7?
Yes.
Motion passed by a vote of 7-0.
Item number 8.
Item number 8, public hearing on a renewal application for a special amusement permit for live entertainment for the Franco-American Heritage Center, 46 Cedar Street. Requested action to grant a special amusement permit for live entertainment for the Franco-American Heritage Center, 46 Cedar Street.
So moved.
Motion, Counselor Jelinas, second by Counselor Clement. Discussion? Public comment? Back to the council. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Counsel from Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Ward 7?
Yes.
Motion passed by a vote of 7-0.
Item number 9.
Item number 9, and if I may, Mr. Mayor, the Director of Economic and Community Development has a little bit of a revised motion. It's very similar to what's printed in your book, but I'll just read the revision for you if that's okay.
Are you handing that out, or?
I don't believe we have photocopies. Oh, I think it has copies. So item number 9, public hearing and approval of JLM Enterprises LLC Credit Enhancement Agreement. Requested action to conduct a public hearing to receive citizen comment regarding a credit enhancement agreement with JLM Enterprises LLC, adopt the order approving establishment of the JLM Enterprises LLC Credit Enhancement Agreement, and authorize the city administrator to execute the legal documents and DECD TIF documentation required to establish the credit enhancement agreement substantially in the form presented. Furthermore, the city administrator and director of economic development are authorized to make minor amendments to the application as may be requested by DECD.
May I have a motion, please? Counselor McCarthy, second by Counselor Pease. Director Jeffers, please kick us off.
I will do so. This is,
Please speak into the, yes.
yeah, sorry about that. This is the second action needed back on October 3rd. The council created the Lowell Street Omnibus Tax Increment Financing District. The first project in that was the one done with AGN Development, and that was a 150-unit housing project, market rate. This is the second one, which was anticipated at that time. It very much mirrors that first action. The one significant difference is because the scale of this project is larger. It's an $18.8 million estimated assessed valuation. So for Joe Manisto to pay his share of the $3 million worth of utility costs, which we anticipate, the city's going to borrow all that money, but each developer was going to pay 25% of that cost. And so the way the math worked out it would be a 55% reimbursement in the first 10 years of the TIF, followed by the same 5% decline for the years 11 through 20. I've got some spreadsheets here that can lay that out for you, but in a nutshell, that's how it all works. Let me just open this up so we can see for those folks watching at home. This is familiar ground for you folks, but this is the TIP district that was created on October 3rd. The area where the second building here is going to be built is down that lower corner, the 207-23 and 207-24. So there's going to be 172 units of market rate built on those sites, with commercial tenants still to be determined, but the commercial uses depending on the street level. There's going to be undergrounding the utilities along Lowell Street through there, Public Works has been working to estimate. We have our own streetlight circuit through there, so we actually own the infrastructure, so we're trying to determine the costs, and the developers have been working through their consultants, the civil engineers, trying to really dial in that price. So this is where the TIF district is. That action was already taken. I knew I should have brought my city laptop in because this is not behaving. Okay. This is the pro forma specifically to this project, and I apologize, worked with Dave Gudis trying to get this set up on the front side so we can see it in a scale that you can actually read.
Director, is that the same pro forma that appears in the packet?
Yes, it is. It is. I mean, it's really more for the public's benefit here. It is a 20-year TIF. It will return, it's within the time frame that will return the 65% for the first 10 years. And it also covers our municipal debt. So when you look just this project alone, we are whole. The last page, or the last columns, shows in the first year that if not including the first project, just this building alone, we are not quite covering our debt service when we return the 55% back to the developer. With the other building included, we're whole. And then as we go down over the course of time, the TIF will return a total of just shy of $4.6 million to the developer. The city will see new tax valuation of $2.1 million, a little bit more than that. And we will have new infrastructure in that area and 322 new housing units, market rate. It's going to create a neighborhood that is just currently parking lot. So I could go on, but I think this is familiar ground for the council. If you have questions, I'd be happy to address them.
Questions and comments from the council? Public comment for this agenda item.
Good evening, Matt Roy, Ward 3. Notwithstanding issues concerning short-term, long-term, positives and negatives of TIFs in the first place, I would like to point out the irony that the mayor of Auburn, as a private citizen, and his business partners have done more for new housing with this project in the last 6 weeks than this council has done for new housing in its entire term. The two, some people might be shocked by that, but I'll point to two things. The Choice Neighborhood Grant, that was all started by two councils, the 2017 and 2019 councils. And then secondly, the redevelopment of the former Martell School, which was actually started by the 2013, 2015, 2017 school committees in the state of Maine. As we all know from, the Connors Project and then watching it basically right after Auburn with EL. So technically, Councilor Scott, the chair of the school committee, Megan Parks, and I have done more to put new housing, and then this council squandered that opportunity. Thank you.
Further public comment? Back to the council. Director Jeffers, is there anything else you'd like to add?
On this particular item, I think we're set. We've covered the ground I wanted to. I will say the Wedgewood project is in the ground at this point. They're starting to build that. We are working hard to get the DeWitt site, which is the old Sun Journal site. That's going to be complicated on the financing, but choices continue to move forward. So I certainly heard the citizens' concerns, and I just want to reiterate that it's not that moss has been growing on anybody's feet.
Further comments, questions from the council? Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Council from Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5? Ward 6?
Yes.
Ward 7?
Yes.
Motion passed by a vote of 7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director Jeffers. Item number 10.
Item number 10, appointment to fill the vacancy in the Ward 4 position on the school committee. There are 2 items for requested action. The first item is to nominate a registered voter of Ward 4 to serve on the school committee to fill the current vacancy.
Do we have a nomination? Councilor Clement.
Mr. Mayor, it is my distinct honor and extreme personal pleasure to nominate Craig Charpentier, a registered voter of Ward 4 and declared winner of the recent general election of November 7th, to fill the vacant seat on the Lewiston School Committee for the end of this term.
Thank you. And these nominations do not need a second, correct, Madam Clerk?
Correct, yes, correct.
Do we have any other nominations?
I move nominations cease.
Yeah, well, now that we have nominations, Madam Clerk, now we're free to discuss the nominations.
Yes, so then if that, Mr. Charpentier is the only person nominated, so then the next motion before you, Mr. Mayor, would be to appoint Craig Charpentier to fill the vacant Ward 4 position on the Lewiston School Committee, said appointment to be effective as of December 22nd, 2023, and end at the completion of the current term, which is January 2nd, 2024.
So moved.
Councilor McCarthy, second by Councilor LaChapelle. Discussion. Councilor Herman.
Thank you. So I'm glad that we're finally filling this seat, but I just want to express my unhappiness that this council chose to deprive Ward 4 voters of any voice on the school committee for over 2 months. I think that's unconscionable and should not be forgotten.
Further comment? Public, or Councilor Scott.
Thank you. So I'd like to congratulate Mr. Charpentier. I think that that was a very well-run campaign between those 2 candidates. It was reasonable, it was amicable, and I just want to tell you that I appreciate that. I will be voting in favor of you joining the school committee tonight. I look forward to serving with you for a couple of meetings, but I would caution future councils and anybody else that when you leave a seat empty like that, no matter what the intention, you are still leaving residents in our community without representation. And I, for one, am not comfortable, nor will I ever be comfortable with something like that. Thank you.
Further comments from the council at this time? Public comment for this agenda item?
Again, Matt Roy, Ward 3, notwithstanding the member-elects winning the election, I would agree with Council Scott and Harriman. This council, over the last 23 now months, has taken provisions of the charter and rules outside the intent of the 1979 charter, section 807, which has been in the charter, the current charter, since its inception and adoption in 1980. And I base this on, there is no notation at the end of section 807 saying that there's a amendment effective such a date, because most of those are from 2012 or in last year. Again, I point to back in January when this council started. This has been an ongoing issue, basically weaponizing the charter for their own personal benefit and their benefactors. Thank you.
Further public comment?
Megan Parks, Ward 7, and I'm the school committee chair. And along with member Scott, Councilor Scott, I want to congratulate Craig on his win on running a very appropriate and polite campaign, and welcome him to the school committee. I know I can't really ask questions and expect an answer, but just out of curiosity, if somebody could explain why he wouldn't start at the next meeting on December 4th rather than the December 22nd meeting, that would be my only question. But otherwise, I look forward to collaborating with Craig moving forward, and assuming that everybody's going to vote in favor of him, I want to congratulate him tonight as well. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, would you like to
Sure,
comment on that?
Just for clarification, if I said December 22nd, I apologize. That takes effect tomorrow, November 22nd. So it's effective tomorrow, being the next business day after tonight. Thank you.
Makes sense. I appreciate your clarification, Madam Clerk.
Thank you.
Further comments from the council? Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Counselor from Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Ward 7?
Yes.
Motion passed by a vote of 7-0.
We are now up to reports and updates from the councilors. Councilor Scott.
My apologies, I did not bring the correct bag with me tonight, so I don't have any of my school committee stuff, so I will report at our next meeting. I apologize. I'm not going to try to do it off the top of my head. It won't happen. Thank you.
We will wait patiently, Councilor Scott. Further reports and updates from councilors. Councilor Harriman.
Thank you. I just wanted to acknowledge that yesterday was Transgender Day of Remembrance, which is to commemorate everyone who has been lost to anti-trans violence over the past year. Also, this month, the month of November, is the National Homeless Awareness Month. So I just encourage everybody to think of your neighbors who are sleeping outside tonight when you're sleeping inside.
I think this was before the meeting started, but we discussed who donated the tree this year. I thought we had a name.
We didn't have a name, we had an address.
We had an address. Whoever you are, that tree is absolutely magnificent, and we, City of Lewiston, appreciate your donation. They stood it up today, anchored it, and I am sure Public Works will be decorating it right to quick. So thank you for your tree. It's absolutely beautiful. Further...
Mr. Mayor?
Oh, yes, Administrator Hunter.
Since the holiday on the plaza was on consent, I would have reminded everybody in the community on December 2nd is our second annual holiday on the plaza. It'll be running from about noon, and then the tree lighting is scheduled to be at 5:17. So, and there are lots of activities for family and children. I know we're bringing back the reindeer. The ice skating rink will have several opportunities to take photos. There'll be kids' activities. There's going to be slapstick hockey. There's a choo-choo train. And what else am I forgetting?
Buddy the Elf, perhaps?
Buddy the Elf will be there. And I understand there's a few characters that will be joining Buddy the Elf. And of course, we can't forget Santa, so Santa will be there as well.
Will we also have a red truck this year?
As long as it's not snowing too bad, yes.
I understand. And thank you, Deputy Administrator. Thank you, Administrator Hunter, for that. Yes, I encourage everyone to come out to Holiday at the Plaza. More updates? Yep, we're now moving to other business. Councilor Pease.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is in reference to boards and committees. I was wondering if there was some way that we could initiate some type of an agreement that when you are appointed to a board or committee, or you volunteer for a board or committee, that you will attend the meetings. And if you miss 3 consecutive meetings, that you be replaced by either the mayor, city manager, whoever is in charge at that time, before the next regular meeting. I would like to also make it known that the committees or boards would be the one to notify the cities at that time, a pending a vacancy. The other thing I wanted to say is, give you an example. As you know, I was on the Budget Committee for Androscoggin County, and it's made up of 14 members. Out of 14 members, out of 14 members, to have a quorum, you need at least 11, according to the charter. Well, we were very lucky to get 8, sometimes 9. So all the budget information we were going through, a lot of it we had to table to the next meeting. Hopefully that we'd get a quorum. Hopefully we get a quorum. Well, it ended up that, I won't say how many, but we had to present it to the commissioners as suggestions, recommendations. We could not vote on them or pass anything or change anything because we didn't have a quorum. And I asked the commissioners, can we change the charter somehow to make it so that if we had 9, we could, majority, or a majority vote plus 1? They said no, we'd have to change the whole charter. And we all know that's not going to happen. So I was hoping that we could think about that, see if we could devise something, sign something. I know everybody has good intentions, but it doesn't always happen to follow through. And I think if you're going to take a position like that, you need to stand behind it and fulfill it to your most of your ability. So I know we have a hard time to get people to volunteer for anything, but the ones that do, I just hope we can commit them to it. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Further,
Mr. Mayor, would I like to comment on those comments?
no, we're not, this is new business and there's not an agenda item. So we welcome your comments to public comment. Is it comments or comment? Comment. Public comment at lewistonmaine.gov. And that will go to all of us. Further new business from the council.
Other than wishing everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
Indeed. I believe we're now headed to an executive session, Madam Clerk.
Yes, item number 13, executive session pursuant to Maine Revised Statutes annotated Title I, Section 4056C, to discuss an economic development issue of which the premature disclosure of the information would prejudice the competitive bargaining position of the city. Requested action, to enter into an executive session pursuant to Maine Revised Statutes annotated Title I, Section 4056C, to discuss an economic development issue of which the premature disclosure of the information would prejudice the competitive bargaining position of the city.
May I have a motion, please? Councilor LaChapelle, second by Councilor Clement. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilor from Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 2?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
Ward 5?
Yes.
Ward 6?
Yes.
Ward 7?
Yes.
Motion passed by a vote of 7-0.
We're heading into executive session. We will not be coming back. Once again, thank you to all of law enforcement professionals and healthcare workers and everything they did for us this time. And our thoughts are with the victims' families and the injured. Thank you all so much.